No, it's pouring.
That's good.
It's pouring rain here though, so there's environment. It's just like the Trump interview with that lady in the farm, in the barn or whatever. You know what?
Farm woman.
You're fucking crooked. You're all crooked, all of you guys. Anyways, so today we're talking about a couple movies that are very different. One of them is called The Last Woman, and I forget already the name of the famous provocateur director. What's the guy's name again?
Oh shit!
Don't worry. Okay, well, don't worry. I got it. Who stars in it?
Gerard Depardieu and Ornella Muti.
That's right, and it's called the Last Woman. I forgot what I was doing. I was trying to find the name of the director.
He was the director of Le Grand Bouffe as well. He's a really good director.
Yeah, I really like him a lot. I mean, I only saw this movie, but I was really noting the
Le Grand Bouffe is good too. It's like four guys who get together to like eat themselves to death.
Oh damn, Marco Ferreri.
Yeah. That's him.
That's the guy. I was really impressed at the way that the camera was behaving throughout the film. And also I like the lighting. The lighting is just this sort of dark apartment most of the time. Mm-hmm. And in terms of like the camera behavior, he's just parking the camera in a spot, like in a position where it's maybe looking into two rooms or something. And there's cross between two rooms and conversation happening. And it's very, very, I don't know how to fucking make a film like that. Like, I think that in order to make a film like that, you really just need to like understand, actors. You need to be, you have to have a really great script and you have to like really understand actors. You can't sort of cover things up with a lot of bullshit, a lot of fucking, technical bullshit. You just have to let the performances speak for themselves. But that was the thing about this film. That's all this film is. It's just basically sort of arguments and people making up.
It's not like there's a focused plot where it's just like, oh, this guy's got to get to, from point A to point B to rescue the woman to get the money to pay for the thing, like Good Time or something. It's very much just like an investigation of this guy's life and the people in it.
Yeah. Basically, just to give an outline to people who haven't seen it and who don't know about it, which I would imagine will be a few people out there. It's about a guy whose wife left him. We find out sort of later on that she left him for like feminist sort of reasons. She was like a bra burner, and he's an architect. He's like this sort of architect who works at this like refinery, like this really depressing sort of like Elephant Man sort of, pipes and smoke refinery kind of place. Right. And his, and he's got this son, and he goes to pick up his son one day, and he ends up just being like, you know what? I'm just gonna take home the daycare lady too. And
yeah, because there's like a daycare on site of the refinery,
right?
Where I guess he drops the kid off at work every day.
Yeah, it may seem alien to you Americans out there that a workplace would be so accommodating to its employees, but this funny thing too is that this movie is sort of implicitly sort of just about kind of. Just the way that they shoot apartments, the way that sort of Gerard Depardieu's kitchen looks. It's about sort of like the lower class, the lower strata of whatever wealth in Gay Paris or whatever. I guess it doesn't have to take place in Paris. It's in France somewhere. It's not like it's specifically stated
outside of Paris.
It's in
in some shitty suburb,
right? But
his the daycare worker is one of the most stunning women of the day.
Yeah,
Ornella Muti.
Yeah, it's Ornella Muti. It reminds me. Me and my girlfriend watched just I remember I was like, was that movie Jupiter Ascending any good at all? So we watched Jupiter Ascending, and it's funny because
Jupiter Ascending?
Exactly. It's this crazy expensive movie that was made in 2015 by the fucking Wachowski siblings, like the Matrix people, twins,
I don't remember that at all.
Right. And it's like, it's this really bizarre, like sort of sci-fi fantasy movie, where, what's her name? Mila Kunis. Mila
From
Kunis.
That 70s show?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So Mila Kunis is like, it's essentially this intergalactic space opera thing, but the whole thing is like, based on kind of a Cinderella conceit, where it's like this girl is a Russian, like a Russian living in Chicago, and she's cleaning toilets for rich people during the day, and then she finds out that she's actually like the heir to the throne of the universe. Like there's this family that own like this group of human beings that
so it's like King Ralph.
Right. It's a little bit like a Cinderella story, like King Ralph, but it's funny. Like me and my girlfriend were watching the movie, and like we're watching Mila whatever her name is,
Kool-Aid.
Mina Kool-Aid pineapple fucking cleaning toilets. And it's just and we're just kind of watching it, and we're like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I have to clean toilets. Like it's only like I only look like maybe like a fucking low tier like international supermodel, not like a high tier one. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, she's like the most beautiful girl you ever seen in your life, and she's like cleaning toilets. And it's like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. That's actually why
I feel like that's sort of indicative of all films now, is that like everyone, almost all actors, especially young actors, are like so good looking that like it's virtually impossible for them to play a regular person, especially the women. Like, Sydney Sweeney as a boxer or something. Like, it's just like, give me a break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are talking about a movie where Ornella Muti plays a daycare worker at like a French refinery. You know what I mean? So, and it doesn't bother me that she's in that movie. I think that if it wasn't her in that movie,
there's something different about the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, where somebody that is good looking could still get away with, playing a daycare worker. She still seems like a tangible human being, but it just feels like today, like the people are so glammed up and good looking that it's just like, yeah, I'm not buying that this lady works on a construction site or something. Yeah.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I don't know. I look at Ornella Muti and I look at, and she just seems pretty perfect to me in terms of her appearance. Although her teeth are weird, but I like her weird teeth. Like I think that
makes her gettable.
Well, no, because it's not like her teeth are.
So you could be like, hey, bitch, you think you're better than me? You got fucked up teeth.
you need to neg her. You need to find the loophole in the female mind. Like
Mystery taught us.
Yeah, Mystery. Yeah, Saint Mystery's teachings have let us know that the female mind is very easily manipulated. But
to be negged.
But her just to finish the thought, her teeth don't speak to lack of hygiene. It just speaks to like just having some crazy fucking directions, going this way and that, she's just
like lack of orthodontia in Italy in the 50s and 60s.
Who had perfect teeth naturally?
Hugh Grant?
No, Elvis Presley.
Really? How do you know that?
I mean, look at his fucking teeth. Look at him. Look at this guy smiling. He's got perfectly straight, beautiful teeth. and his.
I thought like you read that in a book or something.
I don't have to read in a book to know that someone's teeth are nice.
Dental manuals.
Exactly.
It is well known amongst the dental community that Elvis Presley had the most perfect set of teeth in the history of humankind.
I bet you that clavicular knows that. I bet you that clavicular is like...
He's probably got a whole rundown of everybody's, who's got the best teeth.
Yeah, we call this the Elvis paradigm, actually. But anyways, yeah, so anyways, like, you know, we
the
probably
Elvis
don't have...
Invisalign.
You're right. Very good. So
thanks for the mercy. Very good.
I mean, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say to that. You know, but the thing is that the thing about this movie that's very striking is that, like, you know, if you are the kind of guy who or girl who likes to see Gerard Depardieu nude, then boy oh boy, are you going to get your fill on this movie, because he is nude almost the entire time, just kind of traipsing around his apartment. He seems to be like getting out of the shower a lot. Like he comes out, you know, like, hey, what the hell are you doing with the baby? Oh, okay. Hurry up and make lunch. And he's got a towel, wrapped around his waist. And then he just drops it for some reason, or she pulls it off because she wants to give him a blowjob, or it gets caught in a door. And and it falls off, and you know, it's just like so you really get your fill with nude Gerard Depardieu in this film. And I like his build in this film because it's basically like my build, where it's like,
right,
you look thin when you're wearing clothes, but when you take off your clothes, you're like, oh, you know, you're a totally fat piece of shit. You're
a slob.
Yeah, you're a full on slob.
I feel like that sort of attitude of just like, oh, I'm just going to walk around the house nude. And I mean, it's not just like he's alone. He's got, like, you know, there's people in the house. He's got his kid in the house.
There's often as many as, like, you know, 5 people in the house, and Gerard Depardieu's just walking around his house with his fucking penis bouncing off his thighs. I have
a vague memory, or maybe it's not him, but maybe it was like Jack Nicholson would do that too. Just like walk around his house nude. But I feel like it's like a real 70s thing. My dad used to do that all the time. Right. And it just seemed like that was just what people did back then. It was just really weird. Yeah. My dad used to walk around the house nude as well. I always attributed that to him being South American. Like, he's just like, no, I think it's like a, you know, 60s, 70s boomer. Yeah, maybe like, it's a boomer. I mean, like, you know, sort of, you know, you're loose, you're kind of a hippie, kind of, you know, you listen to the Rolling Stones, you get nude, you're just smoking a little weed. I mean, that was not my dad at all. But maybe, you know what? Maybe, like, you know, just sort of the culture of the day, a little bit less of a preoccupation with, I don't know, being fucking, like, you know, hung up. Choked up and like, oh, like uncomfortable, like, you know, whatever. Like, I'm in my house, I'll be nude, you know? Right. And like, I remember it felt more normalized back then. Sure. But, so he's got this hot babe, and for a little while, like, everything's fine. Like, she's a daycare worker. So she's there to take care of the kid all the time. She kind of just jumps into sort of this motherly role. Yeah, it's funny how, like, he just kind of sweeps her up out of the daycare, brings her home, and then suddenly she's just like working for him. Yeah, like, she's full time, just sort of exactly. Like, now she's like a live-in lover / daycare person and cooking, and she's just she just becomes instant new wife. Yep, and she's not even single. She's like dating that weird fucking mustache old man at the fucking refinery, and she can't resist Gerard. She just cannot resist Gerard, and he tries to sort of, like, you know, like, you gotta treat a woman nice if you're gonna fucking expect her to stay around. So he tries to, like, take her out dancing and stuff at some points, and then on one of those dates, she's like on the payphone calling the guy. And he picks up the phone crying, and she's like, I got to go. And then he's like, oh, he cries, and
He cries, and then you go, and she's like, yeah, basically. So she's about to get into a taxi. He's like, no, I'll drive you. So he drives her on the motorcycle to the ex-boyfriend's house. And then he waits downstairs while they're just up there, I guess, having sex or crying together or whatever the fuck they're doing.
I'm sure he's just crying.
Yeah.
Lots of crying.
Yeah. But, so then he gets on they get back on the bike again, and, it's just kind of, and then, she sort of disappears for a while, and then he starts to hate her, and because he's hurt by her. And all through the whole time, there's like this baby, and, Gerard Depardieu is not shy about touching this baby's penis. That's another thing too.
Right.
And I mean, that's, you touch a kid's, if you have a kid, you're probably going to end up touching its penis more than you think you're gonna, if you're a parent,
you get very, not that I have a kid with a penis, but you just get very used to confronting it all.
Right. Sure.
And getting feces on yourself becomes like, yeah, I got feces on myself here. That's just another day.
Yep. That's all. That all seems entirely reasonable to me as a non-parent. But in any case, it's just funny because I'm just thinking like, being that guy, like the kid that grew up. And then just, and watching like the movie and just watching Gerard Depardieu kind of like, tickle
your penis.
Yeah. Like sort of like jerking me off and tickling my penis. Like, and I'm just kind of being there just like, I wonder why my mom and dad let that happen, but there are some scenes that center, like there's one scene where the ex-wife and Ornella Muti are sitting at a table, and they're having a discussion between feeding the kid. They're feeding the kid at the table. The kid's just plopped on the table. He's not even in a baby chair. He's just sitting on the table, and they're feeding him. And I'm just sitting there, just like watching the scene, just like, this is like fucking lightning in a bottle. Like having this kid just like not like, just be comfortable enough just to kind of like allow this to happen and like eat the food, and they're still delivering their lines. And it's like, I was just like, this is such a simple domestic scene, but like, holy shit! Like this is nerve wracking. Like if you ever have to work with kids, especially like nonverbal kids, like infants, it's like.
You worked with an infant before?
Yeah, like just on commercials though. Like they weren't so little that they could walk, but they couldn't talk. But we had to get them to do the commercial involved like them interacting with some animation. So there was like sticks on tennis balls that we were kind of like trying to get the kid to kind of interact with, because the kid would have to reach up and grab stuff.
What was this a commercial for?
It was just for some crappy Taiwanese shit. It was like, say what?
It was for a strip club.
No, it was for
Hooters.
It was for Hooters. He was reaching up, grabbing fucking tits, grabbing CG tits,
grabbing some wings.
Right. But no, like when we got to take that work, because I think he had to walk, stop. We had him on a little treadmill, walk, stop, and then like grab something. And it was like, and his dad was there, and I was trying to work with his dad, trying to get the kid to do all this shit. And it took all day, and I was just like, fuck, man, like this is, and it was pretty low stakes, because I think, it was just for Taiwanese, like local market kind of stuff. Not even television, just like local internet market. And it was like, and I don't even think that I think that I was putting in more work than really like they even, like usually ever, like their commercials looked like dog shit, and they hired me to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit and have something that was more style. This is the first shit that I've ever shot. This is me like the first time ever being like, okay, well, I guess we have to shoot something on a camera. Right. Right. Yeah, like just like a lot of the stuff that you're doing when you're doing like this kind of commercial is lifestyle, and maybe about a third of that is going to have to deal with like children, and then maybe half of that third is going to be like very little children. So I've had a little bit of experience. And there was a baby in The Sadness, like in a garbage bag, and there was a baby, and there's actually a baby.
That was a real baby?
Yeah, it was a real baby.
Oh, okay.
Just with some special effects on its face. No, no. Oh, that's actually cool. You know, I was actually thinking there's also a baby in Cross too. There's a little, what do you call it? Piece of leaked information for all you fucking shitheads out there who are like DMing me about Crossed, like chopping me. All you fucking cross dressers out there. But that baby actually was funny because like we wanted it to cry and we couldn't get it to cry. So like we were trying to,
you're like pinching it and putting your cigarette out on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a lighter out. I held a butane lighter up to its ass. No, but
like melting a candle over its head.
Yeah. I mean, I could do this all day, but the thing is
it's not doing anything.
Yeah, we ended up getting it. We ended up getting it to cry. We ended up getting it to cry, but you know, because you have to just sort of let the parents kind of do that or something. Like sometimes if the parent just leaves the room, that's enough. You know, like okay, bye bye, I'm leaving. You know, I'm not coming back. Like something like that, or the father just being like, "Mommy's not coming back. No, she's not." You know, something like that. I'm just making stuff up. Anyways, what the fuck were we talking about again? We're talking about fucking the baby.
Working with kids.
We were talking about tickling the baby's penis.
Gerard the baby on the baby on the table while they were
yeah. I don't know. I just think that stuff's pretty impressive. But moving right along, you know, there is like there are some.
Does it say who the baby was? Was the baby like somebody? Because sometimes it'll be like the director's baby or like somebody on this in the movie's baby, or is it just a random baby?
Well, I looked at it. I looked at it because I was curious, and I saw that on the Wikipedia the name was Red, so like unattributed. Okay. His name's Benjamin Labonnel as Periot, but yeah, like Red means just there's no page created yet, but it's open, ready for attribution.
Wonder what he's doing now. Hiding.
It's probably in a mass grave somewhere.
he's probably buried in Gerard Depardieu's basement.
But anyways, what do we do now? We talk about like, I mean, there is a bit of a plot. There's this sort of this issue of like this trunk full of items that Ornella Muti has. Do you recall this?
I mean, it's been a while, so I'm just like letting you take the lead, and I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that. Right. But it's not like it's not like coming to the forefront of my mind.
It's not even that. Like I'm really struggling here because like there is sort of this moment where she doesn't want him to open this trunk and it's full of just photographs and just sort of her you know, just the stuff from her life, and it's private, right. And he opens it up and she's mad, but then they sort of go over it together, and it's just sort of talking about like, you know, just, I don't know, like, what is it? Like two people who are just individual people and their histories and stuff. And then he pulls out a picture. There's a picture in there of like of two lions having sex. And he's like, you, this turns you on? Let me show you a little bit of this. And he throws her on the bed, and then he mounts her in the same way that the lion does. He does. He mounts her in the same way that the lion mounts the motherfucking,
giraffe.
The lioness. And yeah. And so, yeah, anyways.
Isn't there like also a scene where like he has to go to a neighbor's house for some reason, and because he lives in an apartment building, and for some reason he has to go to a neighbor's house, and there's a woman there, and he immediately starts like molesting her. Like he's never met her before, but he's just like, he's like half nude, and he starts like digging under her bathrobe and stuff.
Yeah.
The pussy.
Yeah. He does.
He's really horny.
He's definitely a lascivious gentleman. He does do that. He also, also the other guy, the boyfriend, like the guy who was crying before, has like an English speaking girl to come in and take the place of Ornella. And so there's just these little vignettes that happen here and there, like, well, you can still come by whenever you want, but, I'm going to be fucking her when you're not here, kind of thing. And then,
Right.
and then the ex-wife comes in and tries to take the baby away. And then, and he just locks himself in the bathroom with the baby. And then he comes out the door. And then he comes out the door nude, and then he like grabs her tits. He like comes out the door nude, and he's like, and he grabs her tits just to show, kind of like, just to sort of take her down a few pegs, like,
Right.
That's
what I do whenever like a girl gets up and
yeah, for sure. You just grab those tits and just squeeze them.
show 'em who's in charge.
So let me tell you, like I already told you, but I'll say it again. There is a version of this movie on YouTube, but it's a movie in French. It's a French Italian co-production, and it was shot in French. But there is a version on YouTube, but it's like Italian, like dubbed in Italian.
Uh-huh.
I ended up finding the French version later with subtitles and watched it. But what's funny is that I guess it must be like the uploader is from an Arab country, but like all of the comments are in Arabic. And then there's this one guy who left a couple timestamps, and both of them, for the first timestamp is that part where Gerard Depardieu opens the door, comes out with his penis, present, his penis exposed, and then he grabs that woman's tits and starts laughing. And I'm like, okay, that guy likes that part. And then I go to the next one. I click his second timestamp, and it's Gerard Depardieu in the bathtub pulling up the baby, and then sort of like, tickling the baby's like testicles and penis with his hand. And I'm like, okay, the guy likes that part too. And I'm just, those are the two timestamps the guy left. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Just a little insight to what's going on in the Arab world.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, like those crazy Arabs. Meanwhile, it's like, movies made by like a French, Italian crew and team. But in any case,
the people like what they like.
Yeah, exactly. There's no accounting for taste.
Exactly.
I wrote that someone disagreed with like a choice of music for like a thing that I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know what I'm talking about, but or maybe you don't.
I don't know if I know the choice of this specific thing, the choice of music.
Well, the point is that like I got a piece of licensed music and I just was like, I'm using this music. And then I ended up sort of showing it. And it was like, the person's like, oh, this music's crap. And I'm just like, and I had to respond diplomatically. And I said, well, what can I say? I guess there's no accounting for taste. Right. And the person, had never, like, I guess assumed that term, there's no accounting for taste, means you don't have any taste. Like your taste sucks. And it's like, no, it doesn't mean that. so it's like, why are you being so unprofessional fucking writing back like that? And I'm just like, I'm not. And like Google, it's no accounting for taste meaning, and it'll show you that it means, taste is unquantifiable and unqualifiable.
You always get into the craziest pickles.
Well, it's just funny because it's like this person's like accusing me of being disrespectful or angry or whatever, or not disrespectful.
Like, this week is the no accounting for taste. Wasn't last week you got in an argument with some Taiwanese woman because you used another turn of phrase and then she got upset?
Oh, yeah,
she didn't
yeah.
Understand it.
Yeah.
This is like a ongoing theme.
Oh, dude, let me tell you this. Let's try to get a little political.
Let's get
here.
real.
Because I have something that I think will amuse you today. As you know, like, I think it's pretty, I mean, there's obviously like sort of a little bit of a conflict going on in the world right now. And,
sure.
It's essentially being like, spearheaded by the United States. But the United States, every time that they try to tamp this thing down, there's another pesky little nation the size of New Jersey that keeps kind of, wanting to fuck up like, peace deals and stuff by just resuming, attacks on.
I should also say that I mean, what's going on is not, it's just a portion of the United States government that is involved in the, whatever, the skirmishes. It hasn't been signed off on at all or ratified by Congress. He's just doing these things on his own.
Yeah. I mean, well, that doesn't affect what I'm talking about at all. But the thing is that I went to a birthday party on Sunday, and I met a guy who was he answers the door, and he's this guy who looks like fucking Dalsum from Street Fighter, except he's got kind of like a skullet, like just this tall brown guy, and he's wearing like a fucking, like basically a sports bra, and he's got eyeliner on, and I'm like, okay, so this is some weird fucking gay guy.
This is happening.
Yeah. And he goes, what does he say? Like, I'm like, hey man, yeah, I'm Rob. Thanks because I guess he was hosting the party for this girl who's having the birthday.
Okay.
And he's like, what does he say? He's like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, hi, my name's Galaxy. Says his name's Galaxy. I'm just like, okay. All right, yeah, okay, cool. No, it's not, but okay, cool. So then we go upstairs and other people start showing up, and I don't fucking bother with Galaxy because I'm just like, I probably don't have a lot in common with this fucking guy.
I don't fuck with Galaxy.
Yeah. So then what did he say? He brought something up, and I said, well, where are you from? And then he's like, oh, I was born, I'm Palestinian, like ethnically, but I was raised in Egypt, but then I lived in LA for a while, and then I moved here. And I was like, okay, wow, that's cool. Fuck, yeah, and actually, to be honest, I haven't, like, I don't think that I've consciously like met a Palestinian person since like the beginning of these conflicts. And he's just kind of like, he's like, yeah, well, here I am. And I'm just like, well, I'm down. Like I'm down with like the Mujahideen and all that shit. Like, long live the fighters, all that shit. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then he goes,
okay, whatever you say.
Yeah. And then he goes, and then he just starts to go off about like, we start talking about politics, and he's like, yeah, fuck Israel. And I'm just like, yeah, hell yeah, fuck Israel. And then he's like, fuck the USA. I'm like, yeah, fuck the USA too. They're out of line here. And then we start talking about sort of more, what's the word? More relevant stuff, like the Asian politics, and I'm like, yeah, the thing about Taiwanese people is that I think that in their hearts, they really just want to have like their own Singapore. Like they want this country to be Singapore. They just want to be, all they care about is making money, and I think that's fine. Like that's a perfectly, stable society, law-abiding, population, and just a good platform for people just to get wealthy. Like that's what they want. And I think that it's their prerogative to desire that. And he's just like, fuck that. I've been to Singapore before. They're all like zombies over there. There's no freedom. And I'm like, what do you mean? There's like, I've been to Singapore too. It's not that fucking difficult of a place to go to, like I've spent time in Singapore. And it's like, see, now I think I understand, like, maybe where your frustrations come from, because you seem to just be saying fuck everything, but you don't really seem to have like a very good goal in terms of what you want. You know what you don't want, but you don't really know what you want. You're just fuck, like, I just think that everyone should just kind of like live in kind of anarchy where everyone can just be themselves. And I'm just like, and in my mind, I'm just like, this guy looks like he's probably like in his 40s, but he's thinking the way that like I thought when I was maybe like 15. I'm just like, yikes. But then I'm thinking like, well, what I say to him is I say, well, listen, man, like, I mean, we are living in anarchy. And he's like, no, we're not. I'm like, no, we are, because in anarchy, people start to just claim power, and then you just end up getting this. Like that, like the only way you could have anarchy is if it were governed. Like that's the irony, I mean, if it were controlled, a controlled system where anarchy was enforced in some way, and that doesn't work. That goes against the whole fucking thing, right? I mean, unless you're going to go live in the woods with like 8 people.
Right.
I mean, look at your fucking house. It looks like fucking dog shit, like these 2 fucking nice Asian girls had to come in here and clean up for their party, Like, I don't even know why you're hosting this party. It doesn't make any sense, Galaxy. Like, I mean, you know, they own a place. But I think the reason why we were there was something like the girl whose birthday it was just thought this guy was cool. Like, because he's just some weird fucking rave weirdo, you know? I want to have it at his house. But anyways, so I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm going to stop talking with this guy. This is not really going anywhere, and it's just stressing everybody out. So then this later on, this other dude shows up, and he's just like a New Jersey Jew, and he's like he was a super cool, just like hilarious dude.
I was thinking of the oil and water of Jew and Palestinian together.
Yeah.
At the same birthday party.
This is all about me, though. This is all about my perception, not about not the situation at large. But then this guy ends up being like really funny and like, and cracking me up like pretty much the entire time. And I sort of just spent the rest of the night yucking it up with him and his girlfriend. And I was like, man, why can't the world be simple? You know, why can't things be black and white? But, it taught me a valuable lesson that sometimes the gay, Burning Man Palestinian guy is going to be just like the most annoying, stupid guy in the world. And
you know what Israel was dealing with.
Well, that's not true because you know what? Because the Burning
that's
Man,
not true.
I'll tell you why. Because
I thought this was a scientific. I thought this was a pure scientific example of a common Palestinian person.
I know it seems that way, but
don't they all have names like Galaxy and Andromeda? And
yeah. So the question is, where does that come from? Does that come more from the gay thing, or does it come more from the Burning Man thing? And I think it comes more from the Burning Man thing, personally.
So from column A,
because burner, like Burning Man goer, trumps all other things. Like if you're one of those, then you suck. You're just a bad person.
You've abandoned all other attachments.
Identities. Yeah.
Identities.
Yeah. So there you go. So there's a little fun anecdote. You know, just to kind of
life.
keep you grounded. You know, I mean, people are individuals. You know, it's a really bad idea to make assumptions. You still have to remind yourself, even in this old age that we're at. So the last woman, at the end, he cuts his dick off.
Well, I like how they kind of, Chekhov's gun, the electric knife throughout the course of the movie. Like, right. Like it keeps popping up and you're kind of like, what are they going to do with this?
Right.
And then at the end, totally. When he just stands up and it's just like this moment of like he has an epiphany, like, oh, I know how to solve all my problems. And he just saws his fucking dick off. It's insane.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's the end.
Yeah. That's the end of the movie. It's really cool because, I'm glad that you saw that too, because like I noticed it as well. Like they bring up that an electric turkey carving knife, like a Thanksgiving knife kind of. And, he's cutting pieces of sausages in the beginning. And I'm just like, there was something about it where I was like, this is coming up later. I don't know what about this scene is making me think that this is significant.
It was just every time it was filmed with a lot of like love and attention and like, look at this knife. And I feel like, I mean, I'm not sure how popular those types of knives are anymore, but I feel like in the 70s, early 80s, it was kind of like, oh, a new scientific advancement, the electric knife. This is great. It was like a big deal. I know we had one and it just felt like, if you had one, you were on like the cutting edge, but it seems sort of like an antiquated piece of technology now.
Yeah. It's all like, they're always like brown and beige looking, Yeah.
So like they all look like they were made in the 70s because they probably all were. Mm.
So he cuts his dick off at the end. And it, there is sort of little, like more than just the illusion, from showing the knife, there's also sort of this illusion of like the significance of like, of a hard penis, You get to see Gerard Depardieu soft. You get to see him hard. You get to see him half hard. You know.
Yeah, he really commits to this role.
Yeah, but he there's some talk a little bit about like, you know, just, you know, the penis as like a source of, or rather the singular source of all power. You know, they don't say it like
More
that.
penis, more problems, as they say.
Right, exactly. That's really what the movie should have been called. But there's also sort of talk too about like, you know, it's what you know, you say sweet words to me, you fucking, you know, caress me and all this stuff, and then once you blow your load, you know, you go quiet, you don't talk to me anymore. Like, you know, how this guy is just being completely commanded by his penis.
As we all are.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Everyone likes to tell me that all the time, but I don't know. I can usually debate pretty well with my penis if it's trying to get me to do something.
See, but even the fact that you're in a debate,
Right, true.
it shows you the power that it has.
Yep. Penis
Now
power.
imagine if you chopped it off with an electric knife.
Yeah.
Debate
Now-
gone.
Yeah. Now who's laughing? Now,
If you ever want to like do a mic drop on that debate,
yeah,
that's what you got to do. Just chop it off.
penis drop. So that's the film. Like honestly, like this is a real tough one to talk about. Although we have talked about it for, you know, I guess 40 minutes. Although I did talk about that fucking Palestinian guy for a good chunk of it.
Galaxy.
Yeah, Galaxy.
Gas.
But shout out to Galaxy. I know you're listening out there. But like this is a film that I would recommend. But it kind of has to just be seen to be not believed, but it has to be seen just to be experienced properly. Like it's a very it's not something that can be explained in a terms of a plot, in terms of like a sequence of events. It's more of just like this getting dropped into this guy's life and kind of getting caught up in this little whirlwind of relationships and
just like the chaos of Gerard Depardieu's life in the modern age. You know, when it was filmed, like what was it, 78? It looks like it's about like 76.
Yeah, I think 76 is the year.
So yeah, it's sort of like you're just dropped in on, you know, this is sort of a slice of modern French life where, you know, the sort of new world of free love and liberated women. You know, you no longer, you know, this isn't the previous decade where, you know, you had to get married. If you had a kid, you had, can't get divorced. So all that kind of, basically post sexual revolution and, you know, what is life like now in France post sexual revolution? And it's interesting.
Yeah. Is this a 4 for me? No. Is it a 3.5? Yes.
I'm going to say 4.
Mm.
I like this movie, and I like that, you know, I like how bold it is. Like, I like how it doesn't shy away from anything. Like, it completely, it's dealing with Gerard Depardieu and his sex life and his relationships and his relationship with his kid. And the camera doesn't look away. You're like, you really get, you really feel immersed in this guy's life. And it's just very well done.
Yeah. I guess like I just, I don't like looking at fucking little boys' penises as much as you do, and that's why I took off a point because I'm not gay like you are.
You're not gay like Galaxy.
Yeah, no, like honestly, I think it's just like I feel like there was an opportunity to have just a little bit more of a plot. Like all you need is just some sort of, because like that photograph thing was almost it, you know, like just something,
Right.
just something that can spin everything on its head.
I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's otherwise like it's very admirable. Like I feel like if you're a director, you should watch this movie. Like it's kind of like almost shocking, like how well shot and directed it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's unlike, well, it's not unlike anything, but it's definitely like very notable and you know, I think that people who are filmmakers could take away a lot from this film in terms of how to shoot something.
He's made several other good films like Le Grand Bouffe, but he's kind of like, I think, part of the maybe second wave of French New Wave directors,
right?
But yeah, he's good, and he's funny as well. He's got unlike I think a lot of French New Wave directors, I think this guy's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah. Maybe I gotta fucking look at more French New Wave. The only one that I kind of know is Alain Resnaz or whatever, the Hiroshima Mon Amour guy.
Okay.
Do you know that movie?
Yeah. I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember watching that and thinking it was because, like, you're an idiot when you're younger, and like that you take like a film class in school and they make you watch this and you're like, this is gay, but then like you watch it and you're like, oh no, actually this is pretty cool. Like I remember that movie winning me over, and but I think that I have a real blind spot for like Godard and all that shit, you know.
Godard, I feel like he's really hit or miss, mostly miss for me. I'm not, I don't know, like a lot of this sort of like plotless, aimless shit kind of bores me. But I feel like there's other French New Wave guys. Like I think, even Truffaut, I think has better, more interesting stuff.
Who's that guy? The Avenging Angel guy?
Avenging Angel.
Or not Avenging, the Angel of Annihilation or whatever. One of those Mexicans who all get trapped in that house and they can't leave the house.
Oh, that's Buñuel. He's Spanish.
Is Buñuel Spanish? Oh, that's right. His name has an Enya on it.
Well, so he sort of like he started in Spain with Dali, and then he moved to Mexico and made films down there. So the one you're talking about
is during his Mexico phase.
That's like a Mexico film, and then he moved back to Europe, and I think that's when he was living in France, and that's when he made like Phantom of Liberty and Object of Desire, Obscure Object of Desire, and those other ones.
Remember when you were pitching like a Looney Tunes movie or something, and you were
that was when I was when we were talking about the what ultimately became that Porky and Daffy movie, the day the Earth blew up or something.
Yeah,
I very much was like trying to get them to, I was suggesting Phantom of Liberty as a template because it felt more Looney Tunes in its aesthetic than
the script,
than a scripted film like a Pixar movie.
Right.
It was just there was a anarchic attitude that movie has that I felt like, just like you have a scene, some set piece and, shit's going on, and then somebody leaves that scene and you're sort of following them, and then they go into a completely different scene that had absolutely nothing to do with the previous scene, but now you're in a new crazy thing. And then it just keeps going for whatever, 2 hours.
That,
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, that kind of discrepancy between, that kind of filmmaking versus like you said, like sort of a Pixar sort of style script
Mm-hmm.
is that kind of connects us, that kind of incompatibility sort of thematically, in a sense, maybe connects us to the next film that we're talking about today, called Backrooms, where like there's sort of this internet sort of collection of videos and pieces of writing and even like independently produced video games, like just self-produced video games that are based on all this stuff, and this whole culture and mythology surrounding this sort of concept of these fucking backrooms gets all kind of smushed together by what is it, like A24 and Atomic Monster and fucking your boy the long legs guy, fucking what's his name? Osgood Perkins. Like he produced the thing too. And that's where we're at. We got this movie, and they got the kid who did the main video. He famously has maintained that he didn't invent the concept of the Backrooms. That Backrooms was just like a photo that was taken in some furniture warehouse in Milwaukee, and then somebody just wrote some paragraph about kind of this idea of ending up in this dimension of like infinite kind of mundane, almost like empty office space kind of rooms. Okay. And then this kind of evolved into this guy named Kane Parsons.
Did you watch those web shows?
I was familiar with them. I had definitely seen the original Backrooms video that Kane made. Kane Parsons made, like, kind of when it was really hot, like when it first came out, when it was sort of like, oh, this is the cool sort of internet horror thing. I remember seeing it and being like, oh yeah, that is pretty cool. That is sort of like an interesting vibe. But then it's whatever. It's just like, there's lots of stuff like that on the internet. Lots of little fucking, pieces of stories here and there. Like there's what's it called? SPC archive. Do you know what that is? It's just this, I don't want to get into it. It's just this fucking sort of creative writing exercise that people just contribute to. And there's like, hundreds, if not thousands of entries of just kind of like bizarre, almost like X-Files style stories. And, that are just rife for adaptation. I'm surprised by nobody, actually Black Urn, my comic Black Urn was actually in a vague way ripped off from an SPC story that I read. Just this idea of like a pot, and then like a monkey, like this sort of weird monkey creature would come out of it at a specific time, but then it would just die because it was like the children in the brood. Like it doesn't have a digestive system. It just has sort of like a little sac that just runs out and then it just dies. So like, and I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. Like, what if I just take that idea, that central idea, but I make it about jerking off? Cause that's the thing, is that's what all these stories are missing. They're missing kind of like how a character interacts with it. Like you have sort of like this premise. It's just an archive of premises, which is, really valuable to a working hack writer, like such as myself.
Absolutely.
But
I used to, like, when I was working at like Looney Tunes and Nickelodeon writing, I would literally just like go through, I would just think of a television show, like Welcome Back, Kotter, and then I would just like go through like synopses of all the plots and see like if I could steal something.
Nice.
And then just like, just whatever show, like, the Jeffersons or fucking Cheers. And I would just like, like see, like, is there anything here I can steal?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I used to do for just to kind of get my head around writing was I'd just watch my favorite movies and I would just notate them. Like I would girl has a bad dream. Her mother, she ends up trying to commit suicide, ends up in a fucking mental institution. Like it would amount to like maybe like a page of notes, and that would help me to get the confidence of because you think of like a script, like a feature film script, and you just seem so big and so like this very complicated machine. But if you see it on the page as just literally a page of just points, all of a sudden it just feels very, very manageable. And then once you understand sort of like how the movie itself relates to that page of plot points, it's like, okay, I can put this together. This isn't so hard. So to you aspiring, I don't know, filmmakers out there, I think that's kind of a fun exercise. Just notate a movie as you're watching it, and then look over it, and I think it'll help you sort of see the movie from more of like a bird's eye view as opposed to a first person view. To use a video game analogy,
frog's eye view.
Yeah, from a fucking a pubic lice point of view. So what do you think about Backrooms?
I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, Susie mentioned that you had mixed feelings about it.
She
mentioned that you had an.
She says hi, by the way.
Doesn't she want to come on and talk about Backrooms?
No, she doesn't.
What a jerk.
Yeah, I was with it until a very specific moment, because I feel
Me
like
too.
when you're making this is like a very specific type of a movie or story where you're building a mystery, whether it's whether the mystery is like Agatha Christie type mystery or something like Backrooms, or even like say Lost, the television show. You're building this mystery, and so now as a writer you are confronted with a problem, which is, sure, creating a mystery is, I'm not going to say it's easy, but that's the fun part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do I make a solution that is equal to or greater than the buildup of the mystery? And that's where I feel like this movie Backrooms doesn't really achieve that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Much like, I don't know if you watched Lost.
No.
But Lost was similar in the way of like building. I don't know how much you know about Lost, but it's these people, they're on plane crash, they're stuck on an island, and then there's all this crazy stuff going on this tropical island. There's a polar bear, there's a weird there's some weird fog creature, and then there's a hatch, and there's something going down in the hatch, and like every show was just like building on the mystery, and it was just getting crazier and crazier. And I watched the show for the entire run, and then when it all kind of, when they were wrapping it up, it was so terrible. The wrap up of sort of like the revelation of like what was going on, and it just completely ruined the whole thing. And I'm not saying Backrooms is as much of a betrayal as Lost was, but I just feel like the sort of revelation wasn't as interesting as it could have been.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much my, and you said you were up to it to a point. What point was it? I'll tell you, before you say it, I'll tell you the point that I stopped caring about the movie, or not caring, but just where I kind of was like, oh, okay, this is getting into just like Blumhouse movie writing territory. And for me, it was the part where, like, remember how that like he enlists that couple, that young couple, the one guy has end apartheid shirt,
Yeah.
and they go and they do the thing, and then they're in the back rooms, and then there's a Christmas tree, and then somebody, like, the guy puts down the camera, and then someone else picks up the camera, then it stops, and then there's sort of a time jump, and that time jump is sort of when things kind of stopped being. Well, actually, I was still into it. I was like, okay, now we're with the girl. We're with that older, with
the therapist.
The therapist, yeah, and that's cool. I like that. That's fine. And then when I started to realize, like, oh, this is just some hack Hollywood writer has picked up the reins for this fucking sled, and they're taking it down fucking Blumhouse territory. Is the scene with the table, with the dining room scene.
That's the one.
Yep, exactly.
And I mean, there were like little hints before that things were going south, but it was solidified in that scene, because it was just sort of like, okay, this is when it sort of became purely therapy trauma horror. The monster that's hunting us is us. The evil that's trying to kill us is me. That sort of bullshit pop psychology. I watched a couple episodes of 8 is Enough, and now I know all about, psychology and, and, just like very, like armchair psychology is thrown at us. Like, that whole sequence where he's the guy who is, the furniture guy.
Yeah.
The 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
He's sort of like, oh, we're let's recreate the therapy session from earlier, but this time I'm going to do it angry and
threatening,
and then the therapist is finally going to like lay it on the line and tell me why I can't snap out of my alcoholism.
Yeah. She starts giving him the Schwarzenegger, like, quit whining.
Yeah.
Be a man.
It's just kind of like, and then, when his sort of like monster evil double shows up, like it was almost, I mean, it wasn't almost, it was funny. Like it seemed like that thing was like something that would have been in a skit on the Muppet Show where, like, Miss Piggy's having a nightmare or she thinks there's like a monster in her closet. And so like this like big ugly pirate Muppet comes out of the closet and starts like scaring her. And I don't know. It just, that's when it kind of, once it became that, I was like, oh, come on. I was really bummed out. Yeah.
I think that your feelings are shared by a lot of people. A lot of people were like, pretty much like, I think that using the word like fascinated for the first half of it is not a misnomer, like I found myself very interested and fascinated. Like, there was sort of like understanding the logic of the titular Backrooms, like how he goes in and he sees that stop sign and then he keeps going and then he runs into trouble and he feels like something's chasing him and he goes through that little tiny door and he climbs over the thing and he's like, he's lost now and he's running around and then he sees that stop sign again that they spent time making sure that we remembered. And we're
Right.
like, go that way. Like cause we're figuring it out with him. Like I was like, ooh, this is good. This is really nice.
No, like that
nice
very
direction.
that felt like this is a very well created nightmare.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a real nightmare that I think people have of you're in a place. Where am I? How do I get out of here? There's something chasing me, and you don't know where you're going, and the door's stuck. There's like a tiny door and it's stuck and you can't get through it. So it's very, that was all sort of like a perfect sort of like nightmare labyrinth that was very well done. But yeah, it was just sort of like, okay, we have this really cool idea, this really cool mystery. How do we resolve it? What is it? Well,
it's Five Nights at Freddy's Pirate. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the that's the thing that bugged me, is that it seemed like Gen Z patronizing. Like it was like, oh yeah, well, those stupid fucking dumb fucking trans Gen Z kids, you know what they like? They like fucking they like Backrooms. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's the same fucking thing, right? Let's put in like a cartoon Chuck E. Cheese monster, but make it scary. Like that's kind of how I feel like what the angle was on why, because I don't know that. I mean, I'm almost positive that there's not like, that kind of stuff in any of the internet based backroom stuff. I think that's like a sort of a Hollywood way of kind of trying to click it together, but in any case, like, so also another thing too is that those people, that part where he goes, where they're all sitting at the table and there are those like sort of weird people with like multiple eyes, and I don't like those people. They don't make sense to me as inhabitants of the back rooms. Like it doesn't click with me. It doesn't seem to make sense with me. It seems to me like, if the whole fucking idea of the back rooms is that it's just kind of like this, like half remembered kind of thing that is made real. I just feel like the inhabitants should be, well, I mean, like the inhabitants in the original cartoon, the monster that chases the whatever camera person around is just sort of this weird like collection of lines and tubes, or like it almost looks like a cross between a robot and an alien. Like it looks like a quick drawing that a kid would do. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of it. I think it just kind of this sketchy, like asymmetrical, thing that shouldn't be able to exist. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe if you're, maybe, you can come up with some kind of shit where it's like, if you get stuck in the back rooms, for a long time, maybe like after a while, this thing will start to resemble you a little more because you're the only source of input that's different in this sort of inert world, maybe that's the thing. I don't know. But those people who had like multiple noses and eyes, for me personally, I don't think that that look made sense to me. I felt like it was, like it was incongruous with kind of the style that was trying to be developed throughout the whole thing. But the part where 12 Years a Slave grabs a chunk of the guy's belly and he's like, "You can eat them." I was like, this is not coming from that Kane Parsons guy. This is coming from fucking
I just kept thinking
Shlomo of like, Silverstein.
I was like, how did he find that out? Like, how would you find out that like, oh, you could eat somebody? Like you accidentally like trip and fall mouth first into the guy's stomach and take a bite.
Well, so let's, I actually have to take my cat to the vet for a checkup. The cat's fine, but because of the other one dying,
Okay.
we have to take the other one for a fucking physical now, because we're all worried I think the cat's fine. But anyways, real quick, I'll just say that, like I don't have to leave right now, but like whatever, next 10 more minutes. But I was going to say that like the way that I would do it would be like that break should be longer. That guy should disappear for like a year at least, maybe a couple of years. And he's just been, it shouldn't just be like whatever. It felt like it was a couple weeks, you know? But he's just been in there for like a couple of years, just like Jumanji, like surviving in there like Jumanji. And then it's sort of like, what is he kind of created in there? Like, I think that's kind of the better way to go. Also another thing too, is that that couple, I not that it matters too much, but I just felt like they were maybe underutilized. Like we should have seen some sort of resolution with them, like that, the end apartheid.
The young couple.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl and
I just felt like they were just kind of there just to hold the camera.
Like cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking like the people at the dinner table with the multiple eyes and lips. I like it. It sort of. It felt like they wanted to say that the Backrooms was the embodiment of this guy's mind. Because his pirate monster man is sort of like dominating the Backrooms, and he likes it there. He's comfortable there. Like it seemed like this is where he wanted to be. And this place was sort of an echo of what's going on in his mind. But then it's sort of like, well, then who are these? Like the monster is literally your, horrible job, like the embodiment of your horrible job at the furniture store and the embodiment of all your failures, terrorizing you.
Mm-hmm.
But then who are these other two people? Like, are they somebody else's memories that just are there?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I don't know, like it's sort of, it wants to do one thing, but then it's doing something else. And then it just like once you start to introduce like these types of like rules to what this place is, it's like everything starts to kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
But also the movie reminded me a little bit, I guess, of the Tarkovsky movie Solaris, where these astronauts
can read or the planet can read your mind, right?
Yeah, it's sort of like the planet is sort of like is some kind of organic entity that, like, when you get near it, it starts to like connect with you and starts to get inside of you, and it knows what you want and what your your dreams, what your needs, your wants, and it starts engaging with you in a strange way. And the main scientist astronaut, like, he starts having his I think his dead wife or something starts showing up, and he starts having like a relationship with her. And, but then there's other astronauts that are having like completely separate experiences that have nothing to do with his. And it's sort of like a weird combination of both like your dreams and nightmares kind of like living simultaneously. And yet you're still not 100% sure what's going on. It has like a 2001 vibe to it, where it's kind of like you're amongst the infinite, and your tiny human brain can't even truly comprehend what's happening here. But your mind is clearly interacting with this. And it's, I don't know, it reminded me of that in a way. I wish that they kind of maybe tapped into that a little bit more here and and it could have been something much bigger. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because the director's so young that it just became silly. But if somebody with like a greater mind, somebody with a greater intellect helmed this project, it could have been a little bit better.
You know, I disagree. I think that he got railroaded. I think that the writer of, they got some dickhead writer, like, like who wrote, some episodes of The Mandalorian. I mean, I could look it up now, but that kind of writer, that kind of just like, working LA writer who just writes to other writers and,
how can we get a good solid therapy session in this movie?
Well, yeah, we're just like, this script sucks because it doesn't follow like the 3 act 5-point structure. Like they're very into their sort of little algorithms that they've built themselves, and they,
I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about the Last Woman, and even when we were talking about Buñuel and even like say Jun Suzuki's films, there's a certain filmmaking that was going on then where there were these sort of like mad geniuses were like, I'm going to make a movie, and fuck your script. I'm just going to fucking make this person's going to go over here. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And then we're going to have a thing here and then over there. And like they were literally like it was I don't know what their script process was, but it felt like it was a combination of, okay, we're working from a script, but we're also, we're figuring shit out. I mean, Kubrick used to do that too. And that left like such a wide opening for improvisation and just like really crazy, interesting stuff that I don't think like people don't do stuff like that anymore. Everything has to be very scripted, very like, this is what we're doing. We have to follow the script pattern that, everyone else is following. Yeah. Otherwise, people aren't going to fucking want to sit
3 act 5-point.
There's no like
the old
improvisation
feature
or experiment structure. Or like, how about we start the movie here and guess what? We take a fucking left turn and we go over here and, for just because we fucking want to, like, fuck you.
What if we start the movie at the end and we have a guy laying in a puddle of blood and then we have his narration going, there I was laying in a pile of blood. How did I get here? Well, let me tell you, that's what fucking Buñuel fucking gave to cinema, that old chestnut. But
Sam Johnson is having a bad day.
Sam Johnson is having a bad day. Then it's like, he's about to realize that working in a fake diarrhea factory
is about to have a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's about to realize that being a slave isn't all it's cracked up to be. Whoosh, and there's like a crack of a whip. But anyways,
12 more years a slave.
Right.
The sequel.
I want to get in before we wrap it up. I want to get in that there is a part in the movie where, the sentimental value lady, the woman, the therapist woman.
Therapist, yeah.
Yeah. She is still in the Backrooms, but she kind of like enters this sort of alternate version of the furniture store, like where the doors are blocked. And she tries to exit the store. She can't because the doors are blocked. And then she turns around and she sees that fucking weird pirate is following her, and they shoot it really, really wide. And you just see that pirate coming wide. And I was like, that's fucking chilling. Like, I think that, divorced from context, shooting the monster that wide is like, and just sort of, you're kind of like, is that it? Oh, that is it. Fuck. I just really, really, really liked how that was so.
No, I'm a fan of that type of stuff where it's sort of like the monster far away, and it's not like there's some spotlight on it. It's just like, it's just there in the background amongst, other crap. And so, it takes you like a second to be like, oh shit, he's right there.
Yeah.
And he's staring at me. Yeah,
he's coming at me. Like, I mean, so much of what's admirable about this film is like technical and also like like sort of cinematography kind of adjacent. The problem with the fucking film is the script, really, so I don't put but like the vibes and feelings and tones and sort of balancing of not emotions, but like how do you say that? I guess vibes is the best way to put it. Like, I think it feels fresh is the thing. Like, I mean, and all things considered, like, I mean, okay, it's got a kind of a little bit of a fucking, butt fuck script, but the things that it brings to the table are like innovative and sort of, fresh in a welcomed way, like it all seems really great. Like, yeah, fuck all this stuff, this Backrooms thing, this kind of like, you said it very well. It feels like just probably the best representation of like just what a nightmare feels like, that I've seen in a very long time. I can't really remember like a film that was made within the last even 20 years that were,
but I feel like if it kept going down that road and just like, every scene was just becoming more weirder and more nightmarish and more like mysterious and strange and not like, veering into like pop psychology, if you really loved your wife and put down the bottle, the monster will go away. Like, that type of thinking, it just felt very basic.
Yeah. So, this is a case of, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd like to talk with the kid one of these days, just sort of at a bar somewhere once he reaches the age of 21.
You and Galaxy get together
with Galaxy. We could all fucking jerk each off under the table. But ask him kind of like how it went down in terms of like the writing, because I have a feeling that he kind of got like,
he was bullied.
Well, he just got like
cyber bullied into
he just got slick willied by the fucking writers. They just kind of were like, oh yeah, no, this is better because like this is more. Like, this will actually engage with they were using writer's talk on him, and he was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah.
He was Bill Cosby.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He was roofied.
They roofied him. He's asleep. Give me the laptop. I'll write the rest of the script.
Right. Yeah. Put your finger in his ass too. Put your finger in his ass. Put it in there. I give Backrooms a 3.5.
I'll give it a 2.5.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. No. I do think that there's more going on in this movie than maybe you give it credit for. I think it's.
I mean, I do appreciate. Like I said, I was on board. I'm a stickler for resolution and
good writing.
Yeah,
or at least competent writing.
Just like I wanted. I wanted the ending to be at least as cool as the beginning. And I was just feeling a little gypped.
Okay. So we're done. We're finished for the day. I got to go take the cat to the vet.
Okay. Bye-bye.